I'm just going to leave it at this. You and I are both vaccinated right now.
Mm-hmm.
I got Moderna. What'd you get?
I think I have Pfizer. I forget, but I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And as we're speaking, well, the world as a whole is going up in cases. India is absolutely a disaster.
I saw that. What is the reason for that?
We really don't know, because at one point it looked like it was just going away. Like India had some of the lowest cases in the world. In the world. It was like going down to damn near nothing.
Right.
And then I think it had something to do with a bunch of festivals. You had all these big festivals had these huge gatherings, and maybe there's like a double mutant strain or something, where India is essentially the epicenter right now for COVID. More people are getting it. I think like 350,000 people in a day got it, which will probably even be more by the time this video comes out. 2,500 people died in a day that they can't get rid of the bodies fast enough. And honestly, all the anti-vaxxers out there are going to keep us from reaching herd immunity and are going to keep us like this.
I feel like a lot of the anti-vaxxers have already like deleted their tweets and are not really referencing, like, you know, I have a lot of people in my life I know who I had the conversation about vaccines with 6 months ago, and they were like, I would never, and now they're on a waiting list or they already got it or whatever, because it's just so fucking obvious at this point that it's safe. The only way to get back to normal life.
Yeah. But no, I know people who were anti-vaxxers then and they're anti-vaxxers now. I know a bunch of them. Some of them are my actual friends, which keeps me from going as hard as I would like to on this shit. But it's like, you know, and you see it in places like Israel, which ramped up very quickly, but then it kind of slowed down in terms of the percentage of the population because certain people just don't want to take it. And those people, I mean, in one way you could say, well, they're just affecting themselves, because if you're vaccinated and they're not, it doesn't really affect you. But essentially, they keep it going.
I just think it's so selfish and shitty for anyone to be so confident in their own dumbass opinions that they're going to just completely disregard science and regarding something that clearly doesn't just only affect you. It affects other people as well. Like I know me personally, I was already, you know, I think being fairly respectful of the COVID thing. I kept doing interviews, but, you know, me and everybody on my team was getting tested every couple of weeks. And I was like, I wasn't going anywhere besides work. I was just doing work and then coming back. But I mean, you know, my mom got COVID and my mom got deathly ill. And
really?
There was a moment where I really thought, you know, like this could be it. Like I could really lose my mom. The thing that I've been the most afraid of my whole life could happen now instead of 10, 20 years from now because of COVID. And after that, it became really hard for me to have like a rational conversation with somebody who was telling me that the vaccination was a death sentence or whatever. It's like, bro, my parents are so much more happy and relaxed right now that they're vaccinated, you know? They're walking around, they're doing, you know, my mom was living, you know, a lot of people can't relate to like, yeah, you're 21 and you got a 6-pack and if you get COVID, you're going to be fine. Sure. My mom's 69. Yeah. She was trapped in the house. She's going everywhere with a mask on. She didn't want to go near her friends. She didn't want to do anything. And it's like, I don't know. I just think it's super unreasonable and shitty for people to act like they don't want it.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't start flying until I got the vaccine. I didn't start meeting with people until I had the vaccine. It feels so much better to have the vaccine. Like you're just so much like, it's like a sigh of relief. And, I mean, everyone who's thinking that it's some sort of weird poison or some sort of weird whatever, based on just some shit in their own head. There's no science behind it. There's no facts behind it. And it's going to keep the world at this point for the foreseeable future. We could still be here 3-4 years from now. We really could. We really could. But I took the vaccine as soon as I possibly could.
Same.
When they tell me that I need a booster, I'm going to be right there first in line to get that booster shot. And I think what really needs to happen is that these countries need to put their foot down and say, if you're not vaccinated, you can't go to this event. You can't fly. They're already saying you can't go to school. They're already shutting down the schools for people that are non-vaccinated. Europe recently announced that the European Union will allow vaccinated people to travel into their country. So I can finally go back to Europe, which I've been wanting to do forever. events, sporting events, concerts, everything else like that, I feel the government should just put their foot down and say, if you're not vaccinated, you just can't come in here. You're not welcome. The end.
Yeah, I don't think you have a right to put everybody else at risk, when it comes to something this serious.
Yep.
And it's hard for people to fathom that, especially as Americans. We're so married to the idea that we are this autonomous, that we should have our rights. It's the same reason why our gun laws are strict or looser than most countries. There's a lot of things, but I mean, when it comes to something like this, it's just, I totally agree. Like if you're the NFL, you're doing the Super Bowl, you cannot let motherfuckers in here without having approval that they're vaccinated and shit. It's just way too risky. It's way too much of a liability for them. Even if it wasn't just the right thing to do, it just seems clear to me that from a legal standpoint, they almost certainly have to do this.
There you go. Adam22, no jumper.
Vlad.
Appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate
Until
it, man.
next time. Peace.
Much love.